So I think it's clear that I'm very proud of our documentation, and I think that it's really helped us align all of the different features throughout the organization with the adoption of the digital design language, and it's brought a very consistent experience to users of that application. But how do I know that it's because of my documentation? Well, it's in part because of that, and in part because of some of our process, which I'll talk about in later videos. But I know that developers on the floor are using this because every time I go to a developer for support, they always have this bookmark. They know how to use it, and their questions are usually legitimate. So beyond just that experience in and of itself, we also are able to track how many defects that we get. This is where teams open up defects against our library. And you can see that I took over right here in July of 2017 as dev lead, and we've had a consistent drop off. And I'll talk about what these spikes are. These correspond to what we call the quarterly merge. And those have been able to help us resolve and prevent defects from month to month and consolidate them and prepare teams to actually merge those changes in. Additionally, we run a Python script where we get this information, where we have a table of all of our components and all of the different features and how many of those components each team is using. And that gives us a really good sense of which components are unused and which components are being used more or less. So for example, these are some of our lightly used components which have increased in usage. And then we have some components like the drop down, which we've deprecated, and you can see that that's dropping off in favor of some of our bigger gainers like input 2, which has been enhanced recently and has increased in adoption. So all in all, I think that just people and developers telling me how great the documentation has been, the decrease in defects and the increase in the consumption. Over the last year, I would say about a third of all of the instances of our components have been added to Siebel. So we're able to really iterate at an accelerated rate. And we're even looking to figure out ways in which we can improve the documentation with, for example, our tutorial section down here. So common use cases or common challenges that still exist that we can't just document, we're adding tutorials here as well. And like I said, overall, I'm proud to say that we're no longer a problem within the organization. The microservices side, the CI/CD pipeline is still a problem for teams. A lot of our audit controls and processes, those are still problematic, but I'm proud to say that the Common UI library is no longer a bottleneck within the organization.